cars on, I don't know. Simon Cripps has not only made a good start into Paddock Hill Bend, keeping Ollie Neves, the pole position man, behind him, but he's managed to make it stick. But Ollie Neves is charging up the inside on Hailwood Hill. He can't quite get alongside Simon, so that's the battle for the lead, and then a great scrap going on behind them for third place. And that is headed, of course, by Blade Neves in the number 7 car, who has eked out a little bit extra advantage over Ollie Neves. 3/10 of a second it was as they crossed the start-finish line. It's got to feel a little bit more relaxed now that the tyres are up to temperature. And it's a great scrap for the lead, isn't it? Here they come into Graham Hill Bend. Simon Cripps in the pale blue GT with the orange stripe, and Ollie Neves in the dark blue B Roadster, trying every which way to get past. Someone is stopped. Sorry about that. I hardly noticed that one of the Bs has stopped. It's not an accident, it's just run out of power. I think that's Frank Thompson's B Roadster, number 23, which is parked on the grass just before the 50-metre board on the approach to Paddock Hill Bend. Meanwhile, the leaders are at Graham Hill Bend on their 4th lap, and now it's the turn of Ollie Neves to turn the screw. He's just set a personal best lap, a puff of smoke from a locked-up tyre, closer to Simon Cripps than he's been for a while. Oh, and he's made a mistake, surely, because he's suddenly lost Manor Park MG Metro Cup. And as I've said, the programme entry is on page 14. You just need to know that Tim Davies in Class B is running not as number 2 but as number 29, and that Mike Williams in the number 28 car, which by the way is sponsored by NetLogic IT, has had its number, or rather its class, changed to Class C. And it is in fact Mike Williams who is on pole position in his Rover 100, the number 28 car. And let me walk you through the grid because we're running out of time. Get on with it, Andrew. Okay, the front row, 28 Mike Williams and 1 Andrew Ashton. On the second row, 65 Lee McNamara and 96 David James. On the third row, Richard Garrard, number 49, and 42 Adam Palmer. On the fourth row, 87 Steve Dowler and 32 Tony Dowler. On the fifth row, 88 Neil Gardiner and 19 Tom Sanderson. On the sixth row, 21 Les Tyler and 43 James Webb. On the seventh row, 7 Tony Howe and 44 Matthew Rushforth. On the eighth row, 12 Ian Patterson and 51 Derek Facer. On the ninth row, 10 Miles Gentle and 29 Tim Davies. On row 10, 19 Terry Bracey Wright, the pole position man in the standard cars, and alongside him 69 James Dunkley. On the 11th row, 16 Chris Astley and 33 Jonathan Woodcock, and on the 12th row, 31 Stephen Hinchcliffe.
Nothing was more suggested.
The turbo car's difficult to get off the line, but then they really get going. But it looks to me as though the pole position man Mike Williams has really got a brilliant start and a good line into Paddock Hill Bend, and has rather left Andrew Ashton, who is of course the current champion but in a new type of car, so he's still feeling his way. Andrew Ashton, here he is in second place, and behind him, well, Dave James is fourth, I can tell you, so I think it's Lee McNamara, isn't it, who's in third position. And Tony Howe, says Doug Castler, is up to fifth place. Look out for the number 7 yellow car of Tony Howe, because he's made an electrifying start. Very experienced, Tony, but you'd never see him without a smile on his face. Look, here he comes now along Bramham Straight. Look out for him in number 7, and he's giving Dave James the chase up into Paddock Hill Bend as Mike Williams charges on. It looks as though he's got the pace to see off Andrew Ashton, leader won't come the brake lights just for a couple of seconds, or less than that even, at the exit of McLaren before Clark Curve and Clearways. Does Clearways come first or Clark Curve? Clearways comes first. I got it right, thank goodness. All by luck and judgment. So there's 1.1 seconds that separates the P1 and P2 men, and Tony Howe is taking no prisoners at Brands Hatch this afternoon. Look, because now he's ahead of the orange 96 car of Dave James, and Lee McNamara ahead of him in the red number 65 car is Tony's next target. Leaders at Graham Hill. There's Lee McNamara. I wonder if he has glanced in his mirrors to see the ever-advancing Tony Howe. And of course Richard Garrard now coming under big pressure from the 69 car of James Dunkley. Now that's a tremendous performance done as well, because James Dunkley was 20th on the grid and he's already up into 7th place. I hadn't spotted that until just this second, but that's a creditable performance by James Dunkley in the turbocharged 69 car. And of course they are not quite so easy to get off the line, but look at this. Tony Howe is right with Lee McNamara and Paddock as they start their fourth lap, and they're almost at half distance. And there's the proof of the pudding, does, because James Dunkley has set the best lap of the race, 59.454, in his meteoric climb up through the field. Meanwhile, Dave James coming under pressure from said James Dunkley. I don't think that Dave is going to be able to resist, and no he can't, because James is through there on the uphill run along Cooper Straight into Surtees Bend. I wonder what James could do in the remaining half of the race, because we are virtually at half distance now, and 4 laps have been completed by Mike Williams and by Andrew Ashton, only 1.6 seconds behind them. And Tony Howe has done Lee McNamara. Was that on the running for Paddock Hill? Yep, it was. And Lee McNamara's got rather phased by that, I think. And he's going to come under a big attack from who is it? Well, it's James Dunkley, of course. There's Lee McNamara in the red car with the white stripes, and James Dunkley in the blue car alongside, and whoosh, he's through. And already the lappery is starting. So across the line then, Mike Williams in the 28 car, 1.5 seconds ahead now of Andrew Ashton, the current champion. There is Tony Howe in third place. James Dunkley, of course, in fourth position now ahead of Lee McNamara. Remember that Lee McNamara is in a Class B car, whereas all of the others in the front running bunch, at any rate, are in the top Class C cars. Leaders at Granville Bend. Tony Howe is going to have his work cut out, I think, to keep James Dunkley behind him, and I just don't think he can do it. I just don't think he can do it. Well, he can so far. Tony Howe rebuffing James's attack on Cooper Straight. James having a look on the inside line, but of course that fight between Tony Howe and James Dunkley has brought Dave James back a little bit more into the picture. So into Paddock Hill Bend then goes Tony Howe, James Dunkley, Lee McNamara it is who's closed up on Howe and Dunkley. Then it's Dave James ahead of Richard Garrard in 7th position. And the fastest lap has just been set by Mike Williams in 59.072. Pressure from James Dunkley. they come. Fewer than 3 minutes to go now, but Tony Ashton, no. I'm on fire this afternoon at Brands Hatch in my yellow number 7. And you're going to have to work even harder, James, if you want to get past me. Hey, it's a great race, isn't it? Almost forget that Mike Williams and Andrew Ashton are the leading duo. Tony Howe, of course, in third place, with James Dunkley pressuring him all the way, and a rejuvenated Lee McNamara can see a chance, an opportunity to get back to place. James having a look on the inside line, getting half alongside Tony Howe, which allows Lee McNamara to close up, sensing the opportunity to somehow block James in and get past both of them in one go. Lee McNamara leaving his braking very late indeed, and whoosh, he's through ahead of James Dunkley. He'll be pleased with that. Giving Tony Howe a little bit of a breathing space. A minute and a half still to go. Mike Williams leads Andrew Ashton, but all our eyes really are on this yellow car at Graham Hill Bend, and off goes James Dunkley. Now I don't know what's happened there, whether he just couldn't stop for Graham Hill Bend, or whether he suddenly had a mechanical catastrophe overtake him, but that's a big disappointment for James, and it's an awful disappointment for us, being selfish, ladies and gentlemen, because James Dunkley just drove off the circuit onto the grass and out of the way. So I think it must be a mechanical malady which has struck the number 69 car. So once again, drama with only a few seconds of the race still left to go. Mike Williams, meanwhile, leading Andrew Ashton by 2¼ seconds. Tony Howe just having a breather. Phew! There's Tony in third position, shooting down the hill to Graham Hill Bend, with Lee McNamara still pretty close. I must have wondered what on earth happened to James Dunkley. While the checkered flag is made ready, and Mike Williams in the number 28 car receives the checkered flag and wins the Drayton Manor Park MT Metro Cup race from Andrew Ashton by 3.4 seconds. It was at the end.